On tonight's episode of the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party, we're going back to school. That's right. This whole episode is about going to school. All right. So are we ready, Reese?
Yep. And it starts now.
It feels like we achieved something bigger than we originally thought we'd ever do. And now look at it, it's grown huge.
My son Reese was born with cancer. What it ended up doing is it crushed his spinal cord. And when he was 3 years old, he got his first wheelchair and he wanted to be Wally for Halloween. So I thought, I can build one. I can, try and see what I can come up with. And so it started with just, building a simple costume, a Wally costume around his wheelchair out of a Dell computer box. It has exploded into something that was the inspiration behind Walkin Rollin Costumes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. My name is Lon Davis.
And I'm Reese Davis.
And we are the co-founders and creative designers for Walkin Rollin Costumes. So tonight's episode is all about going back to school. And then what I mean by that is we have a way to allow any school, middle school, high school, college, anything, to use Walkin Rollin Costumes as a learning experience. And we do this through something that is on our website at walkinrollin.org/schools. When you go there, you can see we have a Skype in the classroom. We can actually teach your class lessons on how the STEM program integrates with Walkin Rollin Costumes. And we have different people that can talk about different things, lesson plans, all kinds of things that will work for your school. And then if you see here on the screen, all these costumes are all designed by students in whether it's middle school, high school, or college. And we've been working with them for the past few years to kind of help streamline this process.
Yes.
And we worked with a lot of different teachers and different groups of people, different ages, and they come up with some really incredible costumes. So one of the things, or let's just dive in. We're gonna talk to a former student that worked on some of these costumes. It was a team leader in the classroom. We're gonna talk to one of the kids who received a costume from one of these high schools. And later on, we're also gonna talk to one of the professors or the teachers that that kind of led the whole class in this program. But before we get started, I want to remind you that this is our fundraiser, and so we have a way for you to text a donation to Walkin Rollin Costumes. If you text WRC 2020 VP to the number 707070, that will take you to a form that you can then decide how much you would like to donate to Walkin Rollin Costumes. So let's go ahead and dive in to our first interview. It's with Henry Basile, who was a former student of Olathe Northwest High School. I believe that's where you're going to school.
Yes.
Yes. So we're going to hear from him, and then we're also going to hear from Davy, the child who received the costume that was built by that class. And there might even be a couple little surprises in there too. So let's take a look. All right, we're back with Walkin Rollin Costumes, and today we have someone who has worked on more than one costume in a school. And so, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Henry Basile. I'm a graduate of Olathe Northwest High School. In 2018, I worked on the tie Interdictor costume back in 2017. Yeah, end of 2017, and then I worked on a Paw Patrol costume.
So just so that people kind of understand, tell us a little bit about the class that you were in at Olathe Northwest and kind of what does that class entail?
Absolutely. So I was in a program called the 21st Century Program, which is essentially a little bit of a taste for college students of what a college curriculum would be like. I was in the engineering academy there. So the class I was in was called Engineer a Better World, a very service-based class. So we heard about lawn and Walkin Rollin costumes, and we were immediately interested. And so we decided that we wanted to try making one of those costumes for ourselves. So Lon paired us up with a potential receiver of the costume, and we went from there. So
How many kids were in it, and what years were they in high school?
yeah, so I want to say that my junior year, when we did the Interdictor, we had about 8 or 9 students, and I want to say 2 of us were juniors and then the rest were seniors. And then my senior year, when we did the Paw Patrol costume, I think we had around 12 students, and it was a pretty even split between juniors and seniors that year. So,
And when your first costume, it was Davy's Star Wars TIE Interdictor. How did you break up the tasks between the team of students? It's like, what types of groups did you break up into?
oh, absolutely. So I served as project manager for both of those costume builds, but we also had a build manager or a design leader. And so that he was in charge both times of kind of splitting up into sub teams. So what we did were, like, for the Interdictor, for instance, I think we had a sub team for the PVC and the frame. We had one that was working on the wings. We had one that was working on the vinyls and printing, kind of our stickers that we were going to put on there. And then we had someone who was dealing almost entirely with the cutting of the foam that we used. So,
Did you have any unexpected setbacks during the build?
I think that's the question that's a really good question, just because I think anyone who's ever designed anything has potential setbacks. You don't know, especially as high schoolers, you haven't had any actual design experience. So a lot of it was just kind of hitting the bumps of, how do we learn how to do this? Like, this is a completely new process for us. We've only heard about it from Lon, and Lon obviously gave us pointers. You guys gave us pointers, but it was difficult to kind of wrap our mind around it without having ever done it before.
Sure.
So I think every day we would have a setback. I feel like we would just do one thing, and then we were like, oh, well, that doesn't work. So how can we do this more efficiently? So I can't give you a specific one, but it was just a constant process.
That's okay. I know that at the beginning you had Davey come in to do all the measurements, and then you had him come back for test fittings and things like that. Did you how was that? And did you have many revisions after doing test fittings, or?
I'm trying to think back to the PVC. I think we did revise the original PVC frame a little bit, but at the end of the day, I think our biggest issue was aligning the wings with the actual frame so that they would fit at the right height, because it created a very large costume. So it was a matter of managing all that weight almost as a separate entity of the wheelchair. So I think we actually had wheels that were
you did
additional wheels. So that was probably the biggest revision. But
okay.
At the reveal you unveiled on stage at Planet Comic-Con, was it intimidating, or were you nervous about it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Especially as a junior in high school, you don't have a whole lot of public speaking experience. And being the project manager, that was even scarier, because I feel partially responsible for everything that's going on, even though I'm a junior in high school. And then I know Chase Hartquist, who was our design lead, he was kind of freaking out a little bit too, like, oh, both of us are gonna have to talk, and this is televised, and it's in front of a huge group of people. But it was really exciting, and I think the reward of seeing Davey super excited about it just kind of helped ease everyone's nerves a little bit, just because he's a catch, and he was saying all kinds of goofy stuff up there. So.
And then after the reveal, you guys got to put it on Davey's wheelchair kind of for the first time, the finished costume and everything. How was that experience for you and other members of your team, seeing it finally unveiled?
Yeah, it was incredible. No, I think I still remember. I think I still have a picture on my Instagram of our whole team, and then Davey in his costume, and I remember him, and I think the thing that I remember the most is him just riding around Planet Comic-Con, and just every single person that saw him was taking pictures, was talking to him, I think people were just complimenting his dad so much, like just like, they thought his dad did it, and like I don't blame them, but he was getting a lot of positive attention. Everyone was, so it was really cool.
Good. Your team built another costume in the spring. What did you do differently that you learned from Davy's costume?
For the Paw Patrol costume?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that one was a little bit different. I think one of the biggest things we aimed for is we actually had a smaller, I think, team working on that, because our class, Engineer a Better World, was split between one group was doing a different project and one group was doing our costume with you. So I think we actually had 6 or 7 people working on the Paw Patrol costume. I think the biggest thing that time around is we knew how to use the foam, which was really nice. We knew how to do all that stuff in advance. We knew how to print out vinyls and design the vinyls, which was also a learning curve that we had to kind of maneuver around. But we also had the added element of a motorized wheelchair.
Yes.
So that was something that we also kind of wanted to work with and incorporate into our design. But yes, it was much simpler the second time around, just having all that technical knowledge of how to go about making a frame and going through the whole process. So yeah.
It's a siren, like Chase.
Let's press the other buttons.
Do you love it?
Do you like your costume?
Say thank you.
Tell them thank you. Can you tell them thank you? Thank you.
Very well.
Very well.
Between the 2 costumes that you worked on, what did you learn that you didn't expect to learn from the projects?
I think the biggest thing for me, especially as project manager, and I saw the exact same thing with Chase, who did our project or our design lead for the Interdictor, and Cavion, who did the design lead for the Paw Patrol costume. I think the biggest thing that we all learned was managing people was probably the most important aspect of the whole thing. You know, we were high schoolers at the time, and high schoolers and college students and full adults are prone to distractions and prone to having things that they enjoy doing and having things that they don't enjoy doing. And I knew that if I assigned certain people to work on gluing the PVC together and measuring the PVC, they were not going to have a good time, and they would have a much better time designing vinyls or something like that. So I think just seeing the potential and seeing what people are interested in, what people are passionate about, what helps them, what makes them tick a little bit, that aspect of it is just as important as the actual design itself, because if you don't have, you know, a team that's having a good time, then you're not going to have a good end product. So
Do you feel other students at different grade levels could build these costumes?
I do. You know, I think junior and senior level was a really good starter level to work on this, but I think you could incorporate it even down to, you could probably go all the way down to, you know, certain elements being given to much younger kids. I think the idea of creating costumes that are partially done, but then letting younger groups work on certain aspects of it. So for instance, just having, you know, maybe the high school does the full design, but then you let a group of elementary school kids like draw in or like color in or implement their own designs to it. So I think obviously there is the potential for the high schoolers, but I think you could also kind of assist in incorporating younger grade levels into it as well. It'd be actually really cool because obviously you brought the high schoolers into this, so it'd be cool to see the high schoolers then go the next step and bring, you know, middle school and elementary school.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, thank you very much for speaking with us, Henry. And
absolutely.
It was great to talk to you again and to catch up. So we'll be heading back to the next segment of the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. Thank you.
For this most recent project, we partnered with Olathe Northwest High School. Their engineering department contacted us about wanting to see about doing a costume for a local child. Every reveal is different, and the way that we do it is different, but this one we get to do in front of a local Comic-Con, in front of probably 10,000 people. And so it's very exciting because we've never done something this big, this type of reveal.
It is my pleasure to introduce you to Darth Vader himself.
I can actually talk like Darth Vader. Ready?
Star Wars tie Interdictor. This is what Davey chose.
I want to show him.
Sound effects, Davey. Is that okay? Okay. All right, you guys, thank you so much.
Bring the dance going on. Who's wearing a Jedi and a guy in the TIE fighter?
My name's Jennifer O'Gorman, and I'm the instructor at Olathe Northwest High School for Engineer a Better World. My students did a fabulous job on this project. I mean, they worked so hard for the past 2 months to, from the design phase and to the actual build. We had our problems. They were able to solve those problems with a lot of finesse. We had some help from Mr. Davis, of course, and I'm just so proud of them. And the reaction at the reveal today, it was beyond what I expected. They did a great job. This is amazing.
I just what it says. You look awesome!
All right, this is Lon Davis with Walkin Rollin Costumes. With me, as always, is my son Reese.
Hello.
And today we are visited by Davey. Say hi, Davey.
Hello.
So, Davey, it's been a few years since you received a costume from us.
Yep.
How old are you now?
11.
What grade are you in?
Middle school, so 6th grade.
Nice. All right.
You got the first costume built by a high school class. What do you think about going to Olathe Northwest High School and meeting students working on your costume?
What do I think about that? It was actually really fun. It was really interesting. Something really new.
Do you remember all the Star Wars costumes that they had up on the walls and things, and you got to choose which one you wanted?
Not really.
Really? Yeah, they had a bunch of costumes up there. But what made you pick the TIE Interdictor?
It was a bomber.
Oh, you like bombers?
Well, I don't know. It's just, I liked how it looked. It looked cool. So, yeah.
Did it feel like a long time waiting for your costume?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. It felt long because you were excited.
Well, kind of, I guess.
Did you tell a lot of people that you were getting a costume and tell your friends? And
I think so.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. Did.
What was it like going to Planet Comic-Con to get your costume?
Really, really crazy, and it was like really weird.
Yeah. What do you remember most about being on stage? You know, where all the lights, all the people in the audience, and did you enjoy all of that?
Yep.
What did you think of your costume?
It was pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool.
So what did you do with your costume afterwards? I heard your dad did something with it.
I think we displayed it or something like that.
Hung it on your ceiling or something?
Yeah, and it's now hanging in our basement.
Okay.
It's now in our basement.
Do you remember who you said you wanted to see at Planet Comic-Con or meet?
There was a celebrity that you said.
Oh yeah. Vader. Darth Vader.
And when we were backstage, do you remember there was a guy who came and talked to you, and you didn't know who he was at the time until someone said it? And who was?
Yeah, I kind of I remember that.
Yeah, and that was Spencer Wilding, who played Darth Vader in Rogue One. Well, I wanted to show you something. He wanted to send you a message.
Hey, Davey. How you doing, mate? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're growing good. Keep it strong. Walkin Rollin Costumes have got in touch with me, and they've jogged my memories from when we met, you know, and your costume, your ex-fighter on your wheelchair was just absolutely unbelievable. As you know, I go to a lot of Comic Cons all over the world, and you know, some things really stick in my memory box, should I say. As boxers, we get a bit forgetful, you know. But I remember it vividly, you know. And Davey, I just want to wish you love, little buddy, and may the force be with you always. And stay strong, all right, buddy? I love you, and hopefully, maybe one day next year, our paths will cross again, all right? So much love from me and all my many characters I played. May the force be with you, buddy. I love you, Davey. Bye.
Remember the thumbs up. Who can forget about that? That's just crazy.
Yeah, that was recent. He reached out to us and wanted to give you a message. So just wanted to let you know he still remembers you and remembers that costume that you got on stage with him.
That's crazy.
So we just wanted to thank you for doing this interview with us. Is there anything you want to share or say to anyone out there? Say hi to any of your friends or
Yeah, it was just a really fun thing to experience through all that time. It was really fun and exciting.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, and keep watching. All right?
All right.
Bye, Davey.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Henry and Davey, for talking to us about your experience and about the story of the TIE Interdictor. It was great to reconnect with everybody. Now, the past few nights, we have been reconnecting, I guess, with Bert, who has been building a costume in his garage. So let's reconnect with Bert and see what the status is now. So let's get him on FaceTime here. See if we can pull him up.
Hey, Lon.
Hey, Bert.
Lon, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Reese, can you hear me?
Yes.
Lon, are you okay? I think you're there. I've got another update for you. I've been pretty busy today. As you can see, I've got a mess in my garage in my workshop. My neighbor let me borrow his wheelchair so I could get some measurements off of it. And I've been cutting a lot of stuff out of some cardboard and cutting some pieces of wood out. And so as you can see, I've been very busy and I've got a big mess going on here. I think what I'm going to end up doing is going more towards the cardboard build versus the wood build. The cardboard's a little more lightweight than the wood build is. That's my update for today. I'll send you another update tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
This thing
Thanks,
off.
Bert.
Lon, Reese, are you there?
The button's on the side there.
I think I hung up. I think they're gone.
We'll get it. All right. There we go. All right. Well, thanks, Bert. Yeah, we'll have to catch up with him tomorrow and every night this week to see how the costume's coming along. Speaking of what's coming along, we've been talking about the costume that we're building. Yeah. You want to talk about it? I feel like I'm doing all the talking.
Which costume?
The one for the final episode.
Oh, that one.
That one. You can't talk about it.
I know.
But we can show things.
That's true.
You do it.
So let's look at the next sneak peek for this costume.
Come towards me, Callan. Let's test this out. Turn.
Turn that way.
Is that okay driving? Those? They hit you? Where do they hit you? In your wrist? Okay, got it.
We just finished my least favorite part of the building a costume is gluing the frame. It takes forever, every joint has to be glued, but as you can see, this frame is done. It is glued, one solid piece, 3 pieces, and stay tuned for the finished costume on a later episode of the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party.
All right, so there's your sneak peek of the costume that we'll be showing at the last episode. Now, we said, what's the theme of this episode?
Schools.
Schools. We're going back to school. So we talked to a high school. Well, we talked to a student from a high school and a child that got a costume. Now we're going to take you to a middle school. We have a middle school based out of Andover, Kansas. It's just outside of Wichita. And they did some amazing work. The teacher, Cindy Ernstine, was kind enough to reach out to us and kind of find out some information about how our organization works. And then she got her students together and they built an amazing costume for someone in their school. So then the students produced this video themselves of the whole process. So this is not edited by us. This is edited by the students who built the costume. So here we go.
So basically today on a costume for a wheelchair we've been building for a kid named Caden because he can walk but not for long periods of time. So on Halloween he has to be in his wheelchair and so he can't wear that many costumes. So we've been building a Percy the Train costume from Thomas the Train around his wheelchair.
The first thing we did was select a child, and Officer Smith, Tia Smith, she worked here in our building and her son Caden is in a wheelchair. And so she's done so much for the community and for our school and for these kids in particular. So we decided to choose her son.
What we did is we actually brought him here one of the Fridays, and we were talking to him, and we were supposed to keep it like secret because he doesn't know this is happening still, but we still had to get what he wanted.
And we started making sketches, we started doing thumbnail sketches, a lot of brainstorming, we did a lot of research. Then we drew both orthographic and isometric drawings of some ideas that we had. Then we went to our computers and did CAD drawings and developed CAD drawings of what we wanted.
We gave her a materials list because she split us into 3 groups: the frame group, the design group, and then like the painting and the detail kind of group.
Throughout the whole process, you would hear the kids say, remember Caden is this, or remember he can do this, or let's make it like this because he likes this. And the whole time the kids were truly, truly focused on Caden.
It's exciting. I don't think any of kids our age have really done anything like this. And I think it will be cool just to see how he likes it and his reaction to it.
Okay, so he still doesn't know what we're doing, so we're gonna try and surprise him with the whole Percy the Train costume.
Hey Caden, how are you? Say hi. Mrs. Erstein came to see you again. How are you? Move away so that he can see what you've done. Yeah. Do you want to ride it? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. Oh, it's Velcro. Oh, that's clever. Say this. Say all aboard. All aboard.
You want to see what? See that. I think it was really cool seeing his reaction. It was like he seemed really happy. Yeah, I felt like it was really worth the time that we put into the train.
This was amazing and more important than the kids probably realized. Them taking the time to not only do a project like this, but really get to know Caden. So for Halloween, it's not so much about collecting the candy. For a kid like Caden with disabilities, it's about the experience and being able to enjoy it and participate. And he can't normally do that. And so for the kids to create the train and an opportunity for him to be able to enjoy the experience, just it means more than I could ever put into words. Kisses. Love you.
Well, thank you, Andover Middle School, and Cindy Erstein and your students did a fantastic job. Hands down, you guys, wonderful job. Thank you very much. So let's see, what's next?
Last night, I asked a trivia question. Let's see how many of you got it right. The answer to the last trivia question, what was the first costume that we built for more than one child? And the answer is Salvi Splash. Hey, I designed that costume.
Here at Walkin Rollin Costumes, we build costumes for kids in walkers and wheelchairs free of charge to the families. And in order to do that, we need your help. To keep these costumes free, we are always in need of donations and sponsorships to help fund the costumes and the supplies used to build them. So for the virtual party, we are offering some different opportunities for you as viewers to get something for your donation. So the first of which is the Buddy the Elf video conference call. You can schedule a 3-minute conference call with Buddy the Elf and schedule it with your child or anyone. You can record the call and be able to relive that moment over and over with your child. The next option is the Raffle Prizes. We are offering 6 different items as part of the raffle. And if you go to our website at www.walkinrollin.org/VP2020 for Virtual Party 2020, you can find the raffle prizes and see which ones you'd like to purchase tickets for in order to try and win one of the raffle items. The third option is to purchase one of our t-shirts that we have done for the past 4 years. And the 3 years prior to this, those shirts are being sold for $15, and we are limited to the number of sizes that we have available. So order quickly. The new shirt for 2020 was designed by John Nell, a local artist here in Kansas City. And it was voted by you, the fans, as the favorite choice for the design for the 2020 t-shirt. You can purchase that online through October 31st. There's no limit to the number that you can order on that one or which sizes. We will not print them until after October 31st. So order as many as you'd like. Those are being sold for $25 a piece, and all the t-shirts will be shipped free of charge to you. If you would like to reserve a call with Buddy the Elf, purchase raffle tickets, or purchase a t-shirt from Walkin Rollin Costumes, visit our website at walkinrollin.org/VP2020. Again, thank you for helping sponsor and donate to Walkin Rollin Costumes to help make all these costumes free for the families. Thank you.
Hey everybody out there in internet land, I am Uncle Bobby, just Twisted Halloween's friend, that's all. Just want to let you know that even though Twisted does not have a physical location this year, you can still shop Twisted Halloween online. It's twistedhalloweenkc.com. When you do, use the promo code WRC2020VP. This will save you 10% and it will donate 10% of your sale back to Walkin Rollin. Please follow us, like us. Thank you for supporting Walkin Rollin and into this small business. It's you that's the true superhero.
How many of you have started your Christmas shopping? I know I have. Well, okay, I've started, but I still have a lot to do left. But we have partnered up with Amazon Smile to where anything that you buy on Amazon, you can go to smile.amazon.com and make your purchases help us out. It doesn't cost you anything. What you'll do is you'll pick the nonprofit that you want to donate to, and then anything that you purchase on Amazon will then take a portion of that money and send it to Walkin Rollin Costumes. So when you're doing all your shopping this year and you're going to do any on Amazon, make sure you go to smile.amazon.com and pick Walkin Rollin Costumes as your nonprofit of choice. Another way that you can help is with a text donation. We have set up a mobile number at 707070. And if you text the phrase WRC 2020 VP, which stands for Walkin Rollin Costumes 2020 Virtual Party, text that to 707070, and you'll be taken to a link that will allow you to choose how much you would like to donate to Walkin Rollin Costumes. You can donate a one-time donation, or you can do a monthly donation, but it's completely up to you. You just have to text that phrase to that number, and it will send you the link, and you'll be ready to go. So let's see, what is next? I think you have something. You have a trivia question. That's what's on my notes.
Oh,
Do you
I have another trivia question for tonight. Let's see how many of you.
What are you
can
giving
get
away?
A T-shirt.
Okay,
A free
let's
T-shirt.
let's check out the trivia question.
Tonight we are giving away a Walkin Rollin Costumes 2020 T-shirt to whoever answers this Walkin Rollin Costumes trivia question first in the comments below. What was the first school to partner with us to build a costume as part of their STEM program? The first person to answer the question correctly in the comments below wins a free 2020 Walkin Rollin Costumes t-shirt. Good luck! This should be a quick answer because it was said earlier in this episode.
Yeah, so whoever answers it first gets that 2020 t-shirt. All right. Now, so far this episode, we have talked with a student that built a costume.
Yes.
A child that received a costume built by a high school. We have spoken with a middle school, seen their costumes that they built. So let's see, what's left?
The teachers.
The teachers. Okay, so let's meet Keith Manbeck from Blue Valley CAPS program. And he's going to tell us about how their school integrates Walkin Rollin Costumes and has built, I believe, 8 costumes for
like
us in the past 2 or 3 years. So they just keep cranking them out and they do a great job. So let's talk to Keith. All right, welcome back to the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. And tonight we have a guest with us who works with the Blue Valley School District. And this is Keith Manbeck. And thank you for joining us today, Keith.
I'm glad to be here, Lon.
First of all, can you start by telling everyone what the Blue Valley CAPS program is and how it operates, as well as your position?
Yeah, Blue Valley CAPS is it's a Center for Advanced Professional Studies, and what we are is it's hard to describe. It's not necessarily a vocational center, but it is profession-based learning.
Okay.
And so what we have at CAPS is various strands. So I'm in the engineering strand, and then we have also a medical strand, a law strand, global business, filmmaking, communication, bioscience, graphic arts, computer graphics, and entrepreneurship. I think I got them all.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot going on. But yeah, all the schools in the high schools in the Blue Valley district feed into us. You know, the kids, the juniors and seniors, make a decision to commit to coming to CAPS. So we teach them 2.5-hour blocks each day, and so they have to give up some of their other elective courses in order to be with us. But it is that extended time, and we deal a lot with professionals. I mean, we work directly with industry professionals, so they're working with practicing professionals in the industry that they've chosen to study.
Okay. Can I ask the next question?
Over the years, the students in the CAPS program have built 8 wheelchair costumes for Walkin Rollin Costumes. What has your experience been like for the kids through the years?
Yeah, I think that it's been, first of all, incredibly rewarding for them. A lot of the time they get into the Walkin Rollin project because they want to do something that helps people. That is, and so from that standpoint, it's awesome. They're working to help someone, to make the world a better place.
Sure.
And from my aspect, I love the project, first of all, because of the human element, but also it's an incredible design project because who else builds costumes for wheelchairs? You know, they're all one of a kind. Everything is custom. It's fit exactly to a specific person and their needs. And there's so many factors that come into play, and you're building something that fits a human being. You know, so there's a lot of design aspects, and sometimes there's limitations on materials because of allergies or sensitivities or things like that. And so it's an incredibly good design project from that respect as well.
For other educators who are listening to this, in your words, how does building these wheelchair costumes fit into the STEM program?
Well, again, it's design, and we relate everything back to the engineering design process. And so we go through the entire engineering design process while we're making that. And so, you know, that in that way, the kids get to experience that firsthand. But at the same time, we also utilize all of the equipment in our shop. You know, we have some pretty highly technical equipment that we use to deliver, you know, some, I think, higher end results. Yeah. And so then the kids learn how to use those machines and then apply their knowledge to create the costume for the wheelchair.
Do you feel the kids are having fun while learning and coming up with these costumes?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. Whenever it's kind of funny to see, and the project evolves this way almost every time. They get into it because they think it sounds like a good thing. They think that it sounds fun, and it is. And then when the first time they meet that kid, it changes. It just changes the entire project. You know, you meet that kid and they're like, oh, we really got to knock this out of the park for them, you know? So yeah, there's no doubt they have a ball. Good.
Do you feel that the kids learn about inclusion during the project?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, they want to help that kid have the closest experience that someone who wasn't in a wheelchair would have.
What do you think the biggest takeaway that the students learned while working on this project?
Oh, wow. There's several. So like I said, working for someone else, you know, that's really the reason I love this project so much, is because so many times we have kids that come in and, you know, they want to do something that's technical, but it doesn't necessarily serve anyone directly. They're doing research, they're trying to, you know, figure something out, but it so is directly on someone else that it gets them in that service mode, which is, you know, we try to do as many of those type of things as we can, simply to kind of drive home that engineers aren't just people that do math. They're people to solve problems for people and to improve people's lives. And so that's why I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. You know, it's not just solving a problem, it's improving someone's life.
In your opinion, is this a project that could be incorporated into middle schools? I know that this is, you know, focused on high schools, but is this something that you feel middle schools kids could get involved in?
I believe they could. You know, the thing of it is, it doesn't have to be, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be something that is incredibly extravagant or right. anything. The materials we use are very simple. I mean, we use a lot of rigid insulation board and duct tape, and we incorporate some electronics and things in there, but they wouldn't necessarily have to have that
right
in order to make a good design. So yeah, I really do think with the proper guidance.
Again, the educators that are listening that might be thinking about starting a wheelchair costume with their students, what piece of advice would you give them in starting the project like this?
Start simple. Don't try to blow it out of the park the first time. You know, get involved. Come up with a good, solid, simple design. Be as active with the kid as you can. You know, who you're building the costume for, because that's really where the reward is at. You know, getting to know that kid and knowing their needs and meeting their needs, and then still coming up with something. And but yeah, start smallish. Don't try to get too wild and out there, because it's really easy when those kids start on a project like this, and like I said, they meet the kid and then they just want to do everything. And it's easy to get scope creep when your emotions get involved.
Right.
And so, following the plan, and again, like I said, we use the engineering design process to scaffold this project. And I think that's how it relates to STEM. I think that's how you can include it in any class or club or whatever. But yeah, definitely kind of keep it simple with the first one, and then you can graduate up this year.
All right. Well, thank you very much for speaking with us tonight. And we will be returning back to some other stories about Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Keith, for talking with us. I saw in our comments we had a question or comment from Colin, who talked about the hard limits and stuff that we do with our projects in order to make them STEM related. And just to kind of expand on that a little bit more, there's 3 rules that we basically follow, and for each one of our costumes. And one of them is to make sure that it's very lightweight, and that because a lot of these kids are driving around in manual wheelchairs, so they're not in a motorized chair. So any type of weight you put on that costume, it's just that much more that the child has to move around.
It gets heavy really fast.
He would know.
Yeah.
The next rule is that it needs to fit through a doorway, and you'll notice that some of these costumes don't quite seem like they would fit through a doorway, but that's where the kids in these STEM programs have come up with really creative answers to that. The tie interdictor that you saw earlier, it was very wide, but the students actually came up with the idea that the wings on the tie interdictor had 2 little pins in each one of them, and you pulled the pins, and then each wing had its own set of caster wheels under it. So the ship would actually come apart into 3 parts, and just the center section would be on the wheelchair. And so Davy could then drive through a doorway, and his mom or dad could take the wings behind him and then line them back up, drop the pins back in, and he was good to go. It literally took about 5 seconds to take it apart, to go through a doorway and put it back together. So, there's different things, different loopholes that you can do in order to make it fit through a doorway.
Some costumes, the wing, like an X-Wing, some of them would fold the wings up, so it could fit through a doorway.
Yeah, we've done that with there was a
Amelia Earhart.
Amelia Earhart. She had a long wingspan for her plane, and the wings just folded straight up in the air, and then she could fit through a doorway, and they would drop back down. So, there's different things that you can do that really help meet that requirement. And then the third requirement is that it needs to be able for the child to get in and out of the costume easily. Sometimes, in case they need to transfer to another chair, or if they need to use the restroom or anything, they need to be able to get in and out of the costume. We don't want it to where it takes the parents 20 minutes to disassemble the costume in order to get the child out. So those are our 3 rules: lightweight, fit through doorways, and easy access to the child. So as long as you stay within those parameters, then everything works out for the child and the parents as well, because they're much happier with the costume. They're able to store them, transfer them. The kids, a lot of times these kids, when they find out that they're getting a costume from Walkin Rollin Costumes, a lot of them are telling their friends, telling their classmates. And I know around here, I don't know if this is all over the nation, but around here, the kids in elementary school will do a parade in their costumes, and the kids walk around from class to class, or they go into the gymnasium and all the parents are in there. And there's different kinds of ways that they do the parade, but there's always like a school parade. And one thing that always we wanted to make sure is that if these kids are telling all their friends and everything, and they're getting so excited about this costume, the last thing we want to do is build them something that they can't take to school. And so
that defeats the whole purpose.
Yep. We want them to feel included and not feel like an outcast. Well, if you build them a costume and they can't even bring it to school, that's going to give them a really bad feeling.
Yeah.
They will be crushed, and that is never what we want to do. And I'm sure that any builder would not want to do that as well. So that's the reason for our rules. It's, like I said, they're not hard rules, because you can, build something wider, build something longer, as long as it still can accomplish the rules. So
like some of the costumes that were really long, the front just slid off the armrest so they could get easy access to the child.
Yep. So that pretty much sums up our school episode of the Walkin Rollin Costumes virtual party. If you want to reach out to us, one more thing. I just want to reiterate the website for schools. If you are interested in being a part of this program, if you go to www.walkinrollin.org/schools, and then that will get you the information there. You'll see the video from Andover is on that page to sign up for Skype in the classroom. There's even a success story that Henry and his class wrote after they finished building the tie interdictor. So you can see they did a detailed whole document about, photos of the build process and problems they had and solutions they came up with. And so it's all documented there. So it's a great success story for how it all goes together. So anything that you'd want to know about joining as a school can be found on that website. And then if you just want to get in contact with us in any way, you can visit just our website at walkinrollin.org. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vero. Then on YouTube, we have a lot of tutorials and training videos on how we build up some of our costumes, how they go together, as well as
these episodes for the virtual party.
Yes, these are on there as well. And then we also have some, I forgot what the other one was. The training, we had the reveals. We have a lot of the reveals from past costumes that we've given away. And then Pinterest has all of our sketches and things that you can see. Then we would also like to thank the people who helped make this episode happen. We have Henry Basile, Jennifer O'Gorman, Davey, Spencer Wilding, Cindy Erstein, Keith Manbeck, the Olathe Northwest High School, Andover Middle School, and the Blue Valley CAPS program. Thank you so much. And then we also want to thank Jason Hunt with Sci-Fi for Me for helping produce this video and the entire series, and Chris Rude for editing and interviewing, Twisted Halloween for their promotion, Buddy the Elf for offering to do some video conference calls with anyone as a fundraiser, John Nell for designing this year's 2020 virtual party t-shirt, and for the Davis family for everything that they sacrifice. In tomorrow's episode at 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to talk about how you request a costume. And we're also going to tell you a story about this little girl who wanted a Black Hawk helicopter, but she wanted it in Hawaii. So you'll find out all about that story tomorrow night. And so let's see, what else? We have anything else that I'm missing? Oh, okay. We have we have the, don't forget the raffle, the t-shirts, the
Buddy the Elf.
The Buddy the Elf. Reserve your call with Buddy the Elf. And with that, I'd like to say thank you for watching. Again, my name is Lon Davis.
And I'm Reese Davis.
And we are with Walkin Rollin Costumes. So stay safe and keep rolling from home.
I want to reach more kids. And the only way to do that is to have more volunteers. I want to see every child that wants one of these costumes to get one. If you know a teacher at a high school, or a Boy Scout troop leader, Girl Scout troop leader, any type of group or organization that would like to attempt to build one of these costumes or to help out a child, contact us. We have lots of resources. We have plenty of people willing to help build these costumes, but we need to get the message out. So share this video, let them know about what we do, why we do it, and get us in contact with kids who might need a costume, or any adults or families that would like to help build a costume. We're here for you.